Today I'm going to get to know the space genius Elon Musk a little bit better. I've got 2 clips of him speaking, and then I've got a 3rd clip which kind of highlights why we get a difference in Elon. On one hand, Elon can be a smooth talking, confident man who articulates himself incredibly well and oozes confidence. Yet on the other hand, Elon can be exactly the opposite. Unconfident, muttering and stuttering, almost embarrassed by what he's saying and what he's part of. These 2 different sides to Elon are very revealing, and the 3rd clip we're going to see is going to highlight why. But first, let's see Elon oozing confidence, making perfect sense. And globe believers, listen to Elon here as he makes perfect sense. Listen to these wise words coming from your top boy.
One of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true, even if it isn't true. And so you ignore the things that, you ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true. This is a very difficult trap to avoid.
I fell for it as well, Elon. I wanted large standing bodies of water to have the ability to display convexity upon its surface. It can, so I let it go and stand by the things that are simply true. Very empowering stuff. That way you're not ruled by the ego. But isn't it incredible to see how well Elon can articulate himself, how much confidence can ooze from this man when he's actually talking sense? Let's see the clip once more, and then we'll move on to space Elon, where strangely enough he's supposedly a genius, but when he discusses space, this smooth talking, well articulated man who oozes confidence becomes a muttering, stuttering clown.
One of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true, even if it isn't true. And so you ignore the things that, you ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true. This is a very difficult trap to avoid.
And now Elon, the space genius, gone as the well-articulated, smooth-talking man that makes sense, replaced here by a babbling fool.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. After these great words that were spoken, I'm not sure I have much to add. There's from Bob and Doug and Jim, but I do think what this heralds really is fundamentally a new era in spaceflight, a new era in space exploration. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to have a base on the moon. We're going to send people to Mars, and make life multiplanetary. And I think.
Listen to him and listen to how desperate these space fans and organisations are. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Even matey behind on the right there with a mask. Look, he's looking on as if to say, have a word, Elon.
This day heralds a new age of space exploration. That's what it's all about. From people at SpaceX, people at NASA. Hey, Kathy. Hey, so much. We're 18 years. This has been 18 years to finally fly people to orbit and back. And I really came here because I just wanted to see Bob and Doug, to be totally frank. It was like, thank goodness. Like my entire adrenaline, it was just dumped, you know. It's like, thank God. You know. And I'm not very religious, but I prayed for this one.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So just once again, thanks everyone. SpaceX, NASA, FAA, everyone, Air Force, that played a role in.
Gone is the smooth-talking, confident, well-articulated Elon, replaced by a babbling fool that looks like he's either had too many coffees or been on the Colombian marching powder. Clearly doesn't believe in any of this nonsense, clearly uncomfortable, clearly almost embarrassed by all of this. And it's quite obvious why. Because Elon, like any of these faces of space, is constantly getting stitched up. And we've only got to look to the last couple of weeks when Elon's supposed SpaceX rocket had a bit of space debris go straight through. Luckily for Elon and everyone else, the debris was CGI and went straight through the rocket. But of course, it's antics like that what turn a well-articulated, confident man into a babbling fool, because he's the representative of that charade. And clearly it's ridiculous, and the things it represents, the globe, are scientifically impossible. So that's why we get the two sides of Elon. One hand, when he's making sense and believes in what he's saying, he's confident, articulates himself great, and makes perfect sense. But when he's dealing with space, got no confidence in it, unfortunately becomes a babbling fool. Sorry, Elon, but you do. I get it. I wouldn't want to represent that charade. I really wouldn't. And of course, as we know, you're constantly getting stitched up by the CGI department. And this is why poor old Elon becomes a babbling fool when discussing space. He's forever getting stitched up. Like all the faces, representatives of space, they're constantly getting stitched up in one way or another. And in this instance, Elon gets turned over by a bit of CGI space junk. And in doing so, this CGI space junk highlights the absurdity that is NASA, the ISS, SpaceX, and of course the globe. And of course reveals why Elon, when discussing space, becomes a babbling fool. Who'd want to represent this nonsense? Here it comes, the CGI debris interacting with the booster that had just been jettisoned, and then look, straight through the rocket, whoosh! And again, watch this, straight through Elon's rocket. Looks like a hockey puck. Straight through, here we go. Whoosh! Straight through Elon's rocket. No wonder poor old Elon's a babbling fool when he discusses this nonsense.